Now, this is a question that I get asked a ton, and I was going to answer it in a 2K special video, but honestly, I just don't want to, because you guys already know how appreciative I am of every subscriber, every like, and every view that I get on this channel, and I don't need to wait for some milestone to talk about how great you guys are, and thank you, and give a little story and answer a question that's been asked for me since basically I started up this channel almost 2 years ago, and that is, Jake, why are you a Winnipeg Jets fan? How is a guy that lives all the way out in Vancouver such a diehard fan? Look at my room, you couldn't even tell that I'm from Vancouver by the looks of things. And honestly, I'm going to answer that questions for you right now. I'm going to give a little bit of the story about how I became a Jets fan, my hockey fandom, and how it started and where it all came from, and how I ended up in this chair talking about the Winnipeg Jets and being a crazy guy about them now today in 2021. So with all that being said, if you want to check out this video and you enjoy this video, I guess you're saying, and you're already clicking on it and you haven't already subscribed, make sure to do so. I'm a Jets fan that goes crazy for the Jets, but also loves to watch hockey and all the other sports in the world. I got a great podcast out there. So if you want to subscribe, hear another fan's opinion from time to time, definitely do so. It would be greatly appreciated. And with all that being said, let's jump into this and start right at the beginning. So obviously, I'm 21 years old in case you didn't know that. So I grew up in the early 2000s watching the West Coast Express Canucks and that early Sedin era with the Bertuzzi Morrison and also the tail end of the Naslund era. That was my first real introduction to hockey. I remember it very well. One of my first favorite players of all time was Todd Bertuzzi. There's a reason why that reverse retro I have is a Todd Bertuzzi, because he's one of my favorite Canucks of all time. Regardless of all the stuff that happened, I just love the way he played when I was a kid, and I thought he was really cool and a fun, strong player. And with all that being said, I like the Sedins just as much as him, and the Sedins are what really got me into hockey. They're still some of my favorite players of all time, probably honestly right up there in my top 3. I had to say honestly both of them. I categorize them in the same when I talk about favorite players, because you can't have one or the other. They're both the Sedins. They're just there. And with that being said, I love the Sedins, and they're the reason why I got into watching hockey. Now, my dad already loved hockey. He grew up in Winnipeg. He's from Winnipeg. Everyone in my family, minus me and my mom and my sister, were basically all born in Winnipeg. My grandma, everybody. So even though I live on the West Coast, I had a huge connection to Winnipeg, and that means my dad loved hockey. So because of that, I grew up in a hockey household that was always watching hockey, always playing hockey, and just stuff like that. And I grew from there to just love the Canucks, and I grew up with those Canucks runs from the 2010, the Cup Final, and everything that happened, the failures that were leading up to there, and obviously the big failure with losing to Boston in Game 7. And that's kind of where the tails skipped in my the scales, excuse me, the scales kind of tipped in the side that I didn't want to root for the Canucks anymore. Not because I hated the fact that the Canucks were losing, but because of the fan base. Now, for me, if you guys don't know, a fan base makes a sport team. I would rather root for a team on the other side of the country, so far away from me in a different time zone without a single fan around me, if I felt like that fan base was more interactive and a better fan base than what I have out here. And this isn't a knock on Canuck fans, because let me tell you, there are some damn awesome, loyal, great Canucks fans. My friends are Canucks fans. Hell, even my stepdad's a Canucks fan, and me and him have great beef with that, and it's awesome. And I like the Canucks still. To this day, they are still my second favorite team. So I'm not ripping on the Canucks fan base as a whole, but the whole city of Vancouver is very lackadaisical when it comes to rooting for sports. It's more of an outing. It's more of a date night. It's a very quiet arena compared to a lot of other ones in the NHL and a lot of other sports. It just doesn't have that same passion that gets poured into it that some other markets do. And when the Canucks lost to the Boston Bruins and the city rioted, I was 10 years old watching the whole city burn, basically, the fans acting the way they did. It really ruined the Vancouver Canucks for me and kind of cemented my opinion at a young age that this city just doesn't like the Canucks, and it really never has, because we've rioted before that, way back when in 94, or whenever it was, I always forget the year, but either way, back in the 90s when we lost to the Rangers, and because of that, I'm pretty sure it was 94 actually, but either way, 2 riots from losing in the Cup Final, not a lot of great support that runs deep, a very bandwagon-heavy franchise out here in Vancouver, and I was sick of that, and I didn't really know what to do. But, like I said at the start of this video earlier on, my dad, growing up in Winnipeg, had a huge connection to the Winnipeg Jets. When I was a kid, I used to watch Canada Cup footage on the VCR that my dad had of Dale Howardchuk, Gretzky, and all those guys playing in those tournaments. I used to watch just Winnipeg Jet highlight reels that my dad had. He had tapes of the old Jets, kind of like a documentary series, and I remember watching them with him on VHS, and I just thought they were so cool. I always loved the Jets logo, and since I spent so much time in the city, even though the Jets weren't there, the Moose were there, the connection to hockey in that city was so rich, I just fell in love with hockey out there in Winnipeg. Not to mention going to Bombers games, even Gold Eyes games, the passion that that city poured into its sports, even as a kid, I saw was so much better and just more real than anything that I saw out here with Vancouver sports markets. And when the Winnipeg Jets were announced to be coming back, it was rumored for a little bit there. My dad was super happy when the news finally broke that's kind of when I was like, you know what, I'll root for this team. My dad went to Winnipeg for that first game against the Montreal Canadiens. He came back, he brought me my first Jets hat, my first t-shirt for the Jets, and after there, it was just wearing that all the time and following the team a little bit, and that's just how it started. It grew from there, from being a guy who just had some Jets stuff, who liked the new team, who liked the new Canadian market, who knew the city and liked the fans, to really getting involved with it, connecting with people online, using the Jets Reddit, and just other types of areas to grow my knowledge of the Jets and connect with the fan base all the way out here from Vancouver. And that's basically how the story got here. As the years went by, I went through high school more. My friend Lego Rocks 99, aka Gio, if you know who that is, we talked hockey every day. My passion for hockey grew, my passion for the Jets grew, until the point where I finally said, after graduating high school, going to school, getting a job, and then COVID happening and being at that job and just being bored and not finding that passion I wanted to have, I decided that I would finally start a YouTube channel up and talk hockey. Now, I had a YouTube channel before in high school where I'd posted gaming content on it, specifically Call of Duty, and I experimented with hockey stuff near the tail end of me uploading on that channel consistently. And when I just realized how much I liked talking about hockey in a video format, I decided that one day I would make a channel. Now, 3-4 years down the line, or however long it was, I finally got off my butt because a little pandemic happened that destroyed the world and stopped everything as we know it, and because of that, I said, you know what? Why not talk hockey now? And that's exactly what I did. And that brings us to basically where we are right now. A year has passed, a year and a bit. We had a whole season, a playoff run to the second round, and I have not going anywhere else. Just now. I love the Jets. I still always will. There will always be my number one team, and I will always have a special place for the Vancouver Canucks in my heart, but they will never be my number one again. The Vancouver Canucks are a great team, because they've got great fans, but the majority of the city is the problem. The city doesn't love the team. It's not as connected as the city of Winnipeg. When the Jets do good in Winnipeg, you know, because you have half the city going to around the arena and celebrating every win and every goal, and that's the passion that I love in sports. That's what makes sports so special to me, is the passion that people pour into something that it's just a bunch of guys playing a sport that we played as kids. But because of that passion that Winnipeg has for the Jets, it captivates me every time I watch a game, and more I fall in love with the whole team, everything that is that organization, and just that whole city. The more and more I watch the Jets, the more and more I appreciate them and happy that I was able to adopt it into that city's fan base when they were able to come back at such a young age. And here I am now, almost 11 years going into our 11th season, and I'm still rooting for the Jets, and I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. And that's basically it. That's how I became a Winnipeg Jets fan, and that's kind of the start of all of this stuff that you see right now in the last 2 years, of all the content. It all started from the Vancouver riots, and then just occasionally, so happenly, having the Jets coming back and being there and everything. So that's basically it. That's how I became a Jets fan. I hope you guys, enjoyed that story, I guess. I don't know, you've been asking it for a while, so here it is, finally in a video form for you guys to watch and enjoy. Let me know how you became a Jets fan, your connection to the team, and everything else that is the sports of Winnipeg. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Thank you for watching this video. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Just a little quick story video. Still on vacation, but I thought I might as well upload this little one talking to you guys so you guys can enjoy it and whatnot. So with all that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Peace, love, and positivity, all you beautiful people out there. Subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitter and check out all my other links in the description below. With all that being said, have a great rest of your day, and you damn well right know how I'm going to end this video. Go Jets, go, baby!